Yes, this is a new backdrop. No, it's not a permanent backdrop. Actually, it's not even a backdrop. It's a different room, a total different room. Why? Because I'm not at my apartment at the time of recording. And I was actually sitting thinking about what topic of conversation I can chat about in today's episode of the podcast. And immediately I thought, let's chat about flexibility. Let's chat about your plan and how to make your fat loss plan more flexible and how to add more wiggle room into that black and white way of thinking. Because at the end of the day, that all or nothing mindset or that black and white way of thinking might be your downfall if you don't give yourself any flexibility or any wiggle room when it comes to your plan of action for fat loss. On that note, welcome to this episode of the Mandy Meyer podcast. As per usual, this is the podcast where we chat all about your health and fat loss and all about how you can achieve your goals and see progress when it comes to fat loss. Now, listen quickly. I'm currently visiting my parents. And I had two options for today's podcast. Number one, don't record it because I'm not at my apartment. Or number two, record it even though I don't have the usual setup that I would have if I was at my apartment. If I was practicing that all or nothing mindset or that black and white way only of thinking or executing, I would have most likely gone with option one of not recording it and just being, well, okay, there's no episode this week. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that would have affected my uploading schedule, my uploading consistency. So I was like, cool, does it have to be perfect? No, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let me just get it done. And that's exactly what I am doing. And I often see that all or nothing mindset or that fixating on having the perfect execution when it comes to fat loss be the exact thing that stands in the way of you and you creating consistency. Because many times you might look at it and say, well, if I can't execute the perfect plan, what is the point of doing it anyway? And then you just don't execute. You might say, well, I've already gone over my calories by 50 for the day. So what is the point of actually still practicing calorie control for the rest of the day? Or you might say something like, I can't get around to doing my 45-minute gym workout today, so what is the point of doing it? And that is where you just scrap it totally. So instead of doing something, you are doing nothing because in your mind, it's not the perfect way to do it. So why do it? And I'm going to call a spade yeah. That is the one thing that is affecting your consistency, is the fact that you are not executing. Now, the fact that you are not executing probably doesn't only stem from that all or nothing mindset or from you trying to seek the perfect way to execute. It could stem from multiple different factors. But a very big thing standing in the way of you creating consistency is thinking that everything has to be perfect and it has to go according to plan. When in reality, we all know that it's not always going to go according to plan. And we know that progress is far better than perfectionism. And you are not going to see progress or a lot of progress if you keep quitting or you constantly stop executing because it's not perfect in your opinion. As I mentioned, option one for me would have been just to totally scrap this week's episode of the podcast. But then I had a look around and I'm like, what can I still control? I was like, well, I have my camera, I have my microphones, and I have my little light. So is there really a valid reason as to why I'm trying to convince myself that it's not going to work? No, there isn't really a valid reason. Yes, the video backdrop won't be the same. Yes, there's a lot more background noises at this house that you might hear when listening to the podcast, which don't usually show up on my other podcast episodes. Like right now, there was just a truck driving past. But that doesn't mean that I have to scrap it totally. It just means that I have to work with what I have got to still continue executing what I want to do. And that's the same with your health and fat loss plan. You might set yourself a target of doing a 45-minute workout every single day, or maybe 3 times a week. And then all of a sudden, if you can't do a 45-minute workout, you just scrap the entire week's worth of workouts because you missed one. Okay, so what? You missed one workout. Can you still do the other 2 workouts? Or maybe you can't do 45 minutes, but can you do a 15-minute workout? It's the same with a run. Maybe you had a 10-kilometer run scheduled or a 10-kilometer walk scheduled. Now all of a sudden you can't do it because work was too hectic and you worked overtime. But can you still get in some form of movement? Can you do a 15-minute walk? Can you do a 5-kilometer run? The same with your daily food choices. Maybe you had 3 nutrient-dense meals planned for the day, and then all of a sudden Sally from the printer brought donuts to your desk. And because the donut was not part of your plan, but you ate it, you then decide, okay, you're not having a nutrient-dense lunch or you're not having a nutrient-dense dinner because of one donut. No, after you've eaten that donut, instead of writing off the rest of the meals for the day, you focus on the next meal that you can control. I get it. We all have this idea that we need to execute the perfect plan and everything needs to go according to plan. And if something small doesn't go according to plan, that is the thing that ruins the day or ruins the consistency. But that is not the case. One small little thing that doesn't go according to plan is not the thing that ruins the consistency. You thinking that that small little thing ruined your consistency and allowing it to stand in the way of you executing the next thing that you can control, well, that's the thing that ruins your consistency. That all or nothing mindset or that black and white way of thinking. You really have to start working in more wiggle room, more flexibility, more plan B, C's, D's and E's in case things don't go according to plan on plan A. I'll be very honest with you and say I didn't lose 40 kilograms because I executed the perfect plan or because I never strayed off track, or because I followed everything down to the T. No. I lost 40 kilograms because I had a plan, but I also knew if there were things that did not go according to plan, I could tweak the day. I could tweak the execution style in a way that could help me continue moving forward to create that consistency. You cannot stop and give up every single time there is a speed bump, a roadblock, something that doesn't go according to plan. That is actually your time where you need to rise and shine and say, what can I control? What can I still do to execute something, even though it's not the same thing that was on the initial plan? I can tell you now, in a couple of weeks, I'm not going to look back and say, oh, what a shitty episode of the podcast. I should have never recorded it. I'm going to look back and I'm going to be proud because I'll be like, no, I've uploaded every single week as I usually do. And I didn't let my black and white way of thinking or my all or nothing mindset dictate as to whether I was going to do it or not. Flexibility and wiggle room is going to be key for your consistency when it comes to your non-negotiables, when it comes to the consistency of you executing your daily non-negotiables. One thing you need to remember is that you are not on the Biggest Loser. And by that I mean you have not removed yourself from your every single day life where life is still happening, where you still have your household chores, where you still have your job, where you still have to take the kids to rugby and soccer practice, where you still have to do the kids' homework. If you were on The Biggest Loser, your full focus 100% of the time will be on your fat loss plan. Then, yes, your execution would be very black and white because that's all you're focusing on. Whereas now, you're still living this thing called life. There are going to be curveballs. There are going to be struggle days. There are going to be things that stand in the way of you executing something that maybe you had planned to execute. But instead of allowing yourself to quit because you are not executing it perfectly, for the lack of better words, give yourself that flexibility, give yourself that wiggle room, and know that it's okay that if you can't smash 10,000 steps today, instead of giving up at 1,000 steps, ask yourself, what can I still do to increase my steps to where I can? Or if you had a high calorie lunch, ask yourself, what is the next meal that I can control without writing the entire day off? Because remember, it's not one meal or it's not one action that's going to make or break your fat loss results. At the end of the day, it's what you do consistently over a long period of time. And unfortunately, if you are going to keep giving up every single time something doesn't go according to plan, your consistency is going to be shit. And ideally, you don't want shitty consistency. You want consistency, because that is what is going to bring around the results. So again, you might not be able to smash out your plan A perfectly today, or maybe tomorrow, or whenever for that matter. But on the day that it is a struggle, on the day where time seems limited, ask yourself, what can I control today? What can I do to keep moving forward instead of writing the entire day off? And even if it is the smallest of action, even if it is only an extra 1,000 steps, even if it is only an extra glass of water, that is you still moving forward. Because why? Because you are not scrapping the entire idea. You are not scrapping the entire day. You are still focusing on executing a couple of those daily non-negotiables. And that, my friends, is going to add to your consistency. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you like I usually do. Keep smiling, keep laughing, and keep being kind to one another. Much love, your friend who wants you to make things happen, Mandy.